I don't like this. So it was cut from the film and then it was put back in on the extended edition.
There's an extended edition?
Well, all it has is that.
Oh, got it. Got it.
They just put the uncomfortable rain scene in.
The air. There's another weird scene where, so one night she hung out with the kid, and I guess they just had some drinks, and then the other night she was invited to go to Gene Hackman's place. And Russell Crowe's like, last night you were with the kid, tonight you were Gene Hackman, you're just getting around. And I'm like, what? Like, what?
But the line he says is there any men in this town you're not interested in? And she says, you.
Yeah. They wrote that line. It's funny, but
yeah,
why would he say that?
It's 94, bud. Like, things were okay to say in 94 that are not okay to say now.
I guess this was like 86. But I just like, Russell Crowe, man, like, you're being very judgy.
He is being very judgy.
Like, she saved your life, and you're like, oh, you're going around town? What's going to be interested in you?
But I also think that you forget that he plays a movie preacher, right? Like, he's a gunfighter, but he's also a preacher in this movie.
So he's not good at it yet.
Well, and I take offense to this because, like, I'm a pastor at a church and love people. But it's like the John Lithgow Footloose thing where it's like, oh, preachers need to be judgmental jerks in movies. Like, name me one movie where they like paint a pastor to be, or a preacher to be a good character.
And My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Father Bra is cool. He's
okay,
like
if you got to go to My Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, that's a pretty deep cut.
Yeah, man. I mean, no. What about Daredevil, the TV show, the cool priest?
Yeah. I guess that counts.
This is not fair. This is what I hate when people do to me. So I'm like, yeah, in 99% of the movies, this happens. And then someone goes, well, in this movie, they eat 3 clam chowders. And it's like, yeah, this is a one movie. Like, one. There's 16,000 other movies where they don't eat clam chowder, but you bring the one up. Right? So I was just doing that to you. And I'm with you. I know where you're at.
Yeah, so he's got to be a little bit of a, like, judgy preacher in this. Even though he's straight up killing fools with a rusty gun, he gets to be a little bit judgy.
Yep. Not cool.
Not cool. But
he is good.
Trope.
He is good. Yeah, you got to keep these. And this movie's very tropey. I think Raimi relished in this. I also think my favorite shot in this movie, by the way, before we get into it, is when we are introduced to Ace, played by Lance Henriksen, and there's that incredibly long shadow. Yeah. It's the Spaceball ship of shadows. What a brilliant shot.
No, the introduction of these characters is fantastic. Have you seen, Mark, a movie called The Search for One-Eyed Jimmy?
No, I have not.
Okay, so there's this movie. It's like a small independent film, and it's from, I'm going to say, like, 94. It's on Tubi. Okay. But let me just read to you the cast for a second. Yeah. I'm going to read to you the cast list, because I think you're going to watch it later tonight when you hear the cast list. It's got a 6.2 rating on IMDb, released in 94. The cast is Samuel L. Jackson, Steve Buscemi, John Turturro, Michael Badalucca, Sam Rockwell, Nicholas Turturro, Holt McCanley. So it's just like, yeah.
When was this made?
94.
And it's on Tubi?
Yeah.
All right. I guess is Western?
No.
Oh.
It's a Brooklyn movie.
Oh, okay.
Where they're like, so it's like this documentary film crew is going, and they're making a film about like the town they grew up in, but then they can't find this guy One-Eyed Jimmy. So the whole movie's these like crazy characters looking for One-Eyed Jimmy. But the first like 40 minutes of the movie is just introducing characters, very much in this theme and the style of the Brick and the Dead. So like for example, Steve Buscemi's character, what he does for a job is he has a cardboard cutout of Hulk Hogan, and he stands at the corner and he's like, pictures with the Hulkster, $5 for a picture with the Hulkster. And so it goes into him, and like John Turturro is like a disco dancer who did like, it's amazing. You got to watch it.
All right, I'm watching this movie. It's gonna change my life.
Yes.
What about Flat-Nosed Freddy? Do they ever find him?
They never found him, but so I always wonder when the gunslinger stories are being told, like how many of them are accurately how many really happened. Once Lance Henriksen is outed as like a fraud because it was actually Gene Hackman that killed his victims, I'm like, okay, there's a brag portion of being a gunfighter, and I think that's what's happening right now. I don't know how many people Leo actually killed, because Leo, yes, he's fast, but I think he's almost too nice to be a gunfighter.
Now,
a ruthless killer.
He murders a guy when he shoots him. Remember, he's like, "Is it me?" Am I that fast? Am I that good? He killed
Right.
Scar, and he had
Right.
no problem with it.
No, but at that point in time, I think he was so focused on like, my dad will love me,
Yeah.
will acknowledge me, that I'll do anything I can to make my father respect me. If I gotta kill Scar to do it, I'll kill Scar to do it.
He didn't lose
Also,
any sleep, though. You know, in a lot of these movies where they're like, oh, I got a moral quandary because I killed a guy. He wiped him out and
Yes.
just went, yeah. So I think
Yeah,
he's seen a
dropped
couple
his-
things.
he theatrically dropped to his knees and was
Yeah.
like, can you believe that?
He's seen a few things, right? Now, I gotta say something funny. Megan came down, and he looks very young in this movie. So he was 21 when this movie came out, probably maybe 20 when they were filming. But Megan...
Well, Leo always looks younger than he actually is.
And so she comes up to me and she goes, why did they let that child enter the tournament? And I'm like, because he's the son. And then, wait, she's like, but what? They're just letting kids do it? I'm like, well, no, he's like not a kid. He's like, well, look at him. And so then I had to IMDb how old he was. I'm like, no, he's like 20 in this movie. I just thought that was funny, that whole question we had back and forth.
The correct answer to Megan, in the world of the Quick and the Dead. I was going to say the Fast and the Furious, but the Quick and the Dead. In that, I would never say this actually, but in the realm of this movie, when she's like, why did they let that kid in there? Your response should have been like, that's nothing. They let a girl in.
Yeah. Girls can't shoot. Or no, we don't let girls in. And then what did Gene Hackman say? I love the way he read it. He's like, we allow girls. How did he read? Do you remember that exact line?
The exact line was, there's no rule against it, but girls can't shoot worth shit.
Yeah, I love that. But I love when he corrects the guy.
Yeah.
I loved that. There's some words that he says in here. Remember when he's talking to Hendrickson? He's like, you killed somebody in like Tennessee. Like the way he said some of these, I kind of loved it. The way he said that.
Yeah.
And I also don't think this movie was good to Sweden.
I loved the Swedish champion. I loved him.
Really? He smushed a guy.
But I want to watch his whole movie.
Yeah. From his... Oh, how'd he get there? How'd he enter it? How'd he hear about it?
Who do you gunfight in Sweden?
Oh, there's a lot of it. Trust me. They're big.
Okay, you've been there?
I mean, listen. You know me, man. I know people. You know what I mean? That's all I gotta say.
You've seen some stuff.
Especially in Sweden.
This is the exact opposite of the movie with Paul Gross called Gunless.
Wait, what's that mean?
So, have you seen Gunless with Paul Gross?
No.
Well, yeah, I guess not, because he's a Canadian actor who's like in Canadian movies, essentially, mostly. Have you ever seen the movie the show Due South?
No.
Okay, so yeah, I'm talking crazy talk, but there's a Canadian actor named Paul Gross, and he made this cowboy movie called Gunless, where he is a gunfighter, but then he gets beat up and robbed, and he ends up in this town, and then he offends the blacksmith, or the blacksmith offends him, so he says, when I get better, we're going to have a gunfight. And the blacksmith's like, I don't want to fight you. And then he's like, no. So, but then as he's getting better and nursed to health in this like Canadian town, people are so friendly to him that he like feels bad that he's got to kill this guy because they're like making him pie and inviting him over for dinner and stuff because he's still mending. But he's like, but I'm a gunfighter, so I have to kill him. It's quite a cute little movie.
Nice. This
is the opposite of this, where they just kill for any reason.
Yeah, they're just murdering people.
Yeah.
And sometimes they do backflips.
So I always wondered about like the physics of not the physics of like would a gun blow you back, because I get that there's different calibers of guns and yes, that can happen. But within a movie, the rules should apply all the time.
This is not happening.
So
here.
When Keith David gets hit in the head, he just huge hole blown in his head and he falls down on his face. When Gene Hackman gets shot in the head, complete backflip.
Maybe he was trying to do the backflip already.
To get away, like a Matrix style?
Yeah.
He's going to dodge the bullet. He's that fast.
Some of these guys, they fall forward. Some of them get shot back. Some of them stay standing. And then some of them fly backwards.
Right.
It's interesting. But, Raimi, what he said about this, so he took this movie and he immediately just thought, crap, now I have to shoot 11 shootouts and I have to make them visually different. So
right.
He had the same location, same street, same actors, all of that. And he had to make all 11 look different. And he did. So maybe he felt the need to kind of add those heightened gunshots in there.
Yeah, I can get behind that. And you know what? I can support it.
Makes sense?
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's do something real quick. Let's take a break. And when we come back, We'll talk more The Quick and the Dead. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And I was just thinking about this. I love in this movie how when the lady, that's her name in this movie, at least that's what they write on the board for the tournament, but when they're writing her name, it's just that screech on a board.
Yep.
It's just, there's funny touches in this. This is a very tongue-in-cheek movie, would you say?
Well, I'd say it's very tongue-in-cheek, except for moments of, like, intense seriousness. So there's a moment where Gene Hackman is in the kid's gun shop, I guess it's a gun shop, and he's like, look at these hands. These aren't gunfighter hands. These are farmer hands. And you could tell that Leo, like, hates that and that there's a history there for some reason. And he's like, no, farmer hand. And it's this real, like, tense moment that happens. Or, like, when Pat Hingle's daughter, like, gets, I guess, she tried being a lady there for a night with that guy. And then, like, Sharon Stone, like, straight up kills that guy so hard. And that was a very tense, serious moment in a relatively tongue-in-cheek, fun movie.
And they're running at each other.
Yeah, it was that. Talking about visually different, that was a very different-looking gunfight than we'd seen before.
There was a lot of rage in that one, which I kind of dug.
Well, nobody had ever missed until that moment.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess they were running at each other in the rain.
Yeah, no, it's reasonable, but this hasn't happened yet.
Now, if you're a bystander, how are you watching these gunfights?
That's a good question.
Because I watch golf. And there's people that just line up right along the tee. And I think these golfers are good enough not to shank a drive and just potentially kill somebody or maim them for life.
Right.
I would never stand there along, watching people tee off. And if I did, I would be standing behind them. Like, I would not stand anywhere where a ball could potentially kill me.
No, and here's the thing, like, you don't know if someone gets shot and they're falling down in a stray bullet. Like, there's so much room for error in a gunfight.
Yes. I'm watching this from a second story.
I think I'm going to read about this in the newspapers where I'm going to read about it. Yeah. Like, I'm just going to stay home
I'll just hang out and behind some thick wood.
Yeah.
And then when they cheer, I'll step out and ask what happened.
Right.
When I hear winner. Because I don't want to be out there when people are coming up from the dead. Spotted horses coming up, shooting everywhere.
Now, The Undertaker, he was the shoveler from Home Alone, correct?
Correct.
He looks exactly like my father-in-law.
Really?
Like, to a T. Like, when one of my friends first met my father-in-law at my wedding, he was like, whoa, I loved you in Home Alone, was the joke he made.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so when I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, it looks just like Carl. It's crazy.
He finds some emotion with the maybe 8 lines he has.
Well, when you first are introduced to him, you think he's going to be very much like a Undertaker from Tombstone, right? Where it's like, how many caskets you need? Get 7 made up. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the typical gun, or like Fistful of Dollars like Undertaker. But then he turns out to be like a very integral part of Sharon Stone's past.
He's like, we're all cowards, but we need you. I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
We've been waiting for someone.
I loved Gene Hackman's speech where he was like, you keep whining that I'm charging you too much tax, but yet you had the money to hire a professional gunfighter to come kill me. Well, I guess that means that I'm not charging you. And like, I just loved how snide he was in that.
Do you think there's some hurt?
Well, I think if anybody hires, like, Mark, if I hired someone to kill you, I think there'd be some hurt there. Like, you can't walk away from that unscathed.
No, you're right. But the first thing that came to my head is I would just look at you and be like, come on, man. Why?
Why you gotta play me like that?
Yeah, why?
Why'd you have to Keith David me?
Yeah, exactly. Man, I hated that. Okay. I like, though, that Keith David got his moment to shine. Great laugh. He was there for the people. He actually got his gun. He got his
mustache in the movie.
Best mustache. Oh, by far. He actually got his gun out. I think he got a shot off into the ground before Hackman could get him. But I'm so tired of seeing Keith David die.
Stop. But, did you hear that, Sean Bean he won't take any more roles where he dies?
Yeah, because he's so sick of it. He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, he's so tired of dying on screen. Yeah.
It's like Brad Pitt doesn't want to eat much on screen anymore.
Right. But I think when you're Keith David, you're like, you know what you're going to do? You're going to die in a movie and we're going to pay you for it. That's what you do.
Yeah, he's a character actor. And they also said you get to act alongside Gene Hackman, too.
Well, I bet you if you look at someone like Keith David, who I would say the average